Welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Hope you're all taking the time to get stuck into playing your old classics on the PlayStation 1 and reliving all those old memories, because there is some fantastic games on this console. This game I'm playing in this video is Aqua GT. Now this is a game that was released later on in the PlayStation's life cycle in 2001, because at this stage the new PlayStation 2 was on the verge of being the mainstream console, and everybody was kind of jumping on board that and seeing what the PlayStation 2 was all about. But for those that were still playing the PlayStation 1, the likes of myself, still got treated to a lot of really unique and pretty cool games for that time. So again, this here is just a racing game based on like water kind of sports, and even though there are a lot of racing games and even games in general on the PlayStation, and a lot of them I would have played, but there's also tons of games that I actually haven't really got the chance to play over the years. I've only in recent times actually gotten to actually have a look at them due to recent elements like with the PlayStation Classic and so forth that was released a while back. So it does give you access to some of these unique games that even I would never have actually gotten the chance to play. And for me, and even for anyone else out there that is really passionate about the PlayStation, it is a good opportunity to be able to experience some of these games, as the PlayStation has been known for a lot of massive, highly successful games, but there's also a lot of hidden gems on the system as well that may not have been as popular, but that were equally as good as some of the bigger games on the system. This year is actually now, I only played this one actually recently. It was one game that I had seen later on, I do remember way back on the later days of the PlayStation, but I didn't play it at that time. Again, a lot of it was down to like having the money and stuff. You were kind of just saving up whatever little bit of money that you actually had from work, or whenever you had, say if it wasn't working, whatever little bit of pocket money you had in your younger years, you were saving up whatever little bit of money so that you could buy certain games. But what usually would happen is you go in and you would see a load of games that you'd actually want, but you'd only have at the time say between £20 and £40, so you'd only be able to have enough to buy maybe one or two games. Sometimes you might get lucky and buy a few more bargain based games, and I used to love that because you'd always, like I mentioned, you'd always find a few hidden gems and you'd get them like really cheap, and then you go and play them. And now not all of them were fantastic. I will admit the PlayStation did have its fair share of below par games, if I would say, but I never like to disregard any game on the console, because the way I see it is every game that I have played, where regardless of whether they were good or bad, they all brought something unique to the table. Every game that I actually played, even if they were difficult or they were just glitchy or whatever, they always had something in them that I didn't see in any other game. So I always found that to be really good. So that was one of the things I loved about the platform, is just you were learning and you were experiencing new things all the time. And the likes of playing the likes of this here was no different. The one thing I will say about playing this here, even though I didn't get to play it really early on, I've only played it kind of recently, but I've been wanting to go through and experience a lot of these games that I never got to play back in those early days. At least now I have the chance to do so. And I have to say I can't complain, because there's actually a lot of really good games, even some awesome games that I never got the chance to play back then. This one here now, as an example, I never really played too many water sports games, but the few that I did play now I actually enjoyed them. I remember playing like Jet Motor or Jet Rider, that was called here in Europe, and I used to love that game. It was made by the same crowd that made Twisted Metal, and it was a really good game. And I remember playing another demo of a game that was similar to this here called Rapid Racer, and again it was a very good game as well. The graphics in it actually really high res for the time, really good, and that was very enjoyable as well. But I do find these type of games, they are tough, and this one here is no exception. Like, even though like I'm in first position right now, but the second you make a mistake, even if you drop even a little bit of time, straight away everyone passes you. There's no room for error in it whatsoever. Very hard to win a race in this, I will admit. It is very difficult, but the graphics are very good in the game, even for the later end of the PlayStation's lifespan. The graphics are actually really good for the game. So I'm literally just testing here, just going through a few playthroughs of the game. again, like I have played it a few times since, but it is very difficult. I've never really been able to master it from as long as I have been playing it. This here is actually quite an enjoyable game, but it's just your usual run-of-the-mill kind of racing type of game where you're just literally going through races and then just unlocking type of stuff. But even at that, it's racing at its simplistic nature, which for me is the best way a lot of times to actually have it. Like, there is different games that have different elements in terms of, like, you can add, like, having like different features like upgrading systems and spending money and that, and they're all cool, but it all depends on the dynamic of the actual game. But the likes of this one here is just simplistic. You just go in, do your races and complete championships and unlock different stuff, and that's it. And it is good for what it is. Now, it is tough. It's not on the beginner friendly end of the scale, I will admit, because as someone that's not so experienced with these type of games, even for the likes of myself that has played a lot of racing games, even I will admit I find this quite tough. But that's not to say that it's a bad game at all in general. Like, it is actually quite good. But I do like the graphical style, and even the likes of some of the elements with the likes of the water physics and stuff. It is actually quite good, and depending on where you are, it does affect the handling of the boat as well. So it is actually quite, even for back then, it was still quite unique, even if it is quite tough. As you can see, I'm crashing into everything. But it's just one of those games that is actually a good thing to play if you are into sort of like water sports or these type of racing games. It would be worthwhile actually checking out. Again, like with anything on the PlayStation, from all the games that I have played, even the not so good ones, though, like I mentioned, there was always something about them that I liked. There was always something there that kind of just, it kind of stuck in your mind. You wouldn't forget about it. It kind of left a lasting impression a lot of times. Even some of the more frustrating games, they definitely, you always found something about them that made you want to kind of go back and just give it like one more go. I always used to find that as well. Like, my mates would always, and my brothers would always be winding me up when I was younger, because like, oh sure, I would just give any game a go. You could never see the bad in any game. You'd play any game on the PlayStation, regardless if it was good or bad. And going back to like what I said, regardless of how difficult or how bad a game was, I just try to see the uniqueness in every game that I played, especially on the console, because I love the PlayStation so much. And like I said, every game was unique in its own way. Every game actually had something different to bring to the table. Even if they were different from others, they always had something that was a little bit different. So there's a lot to be said from it. And like I mentioned, it'll always be my favourite console, because again, it was the one that really opened my eyes to this whole concept of 3D gaming. But even at that, the games just had a different unique feeling. They had a different presence about it, something that I'd never really felt in older consoles. Even, I'll admit, even in consoles that I play today. And I do love modern gaming, but a lot of times I find it just doesn't hit me that way as much as, like, say, games on the PlayStation. Because I find with a lot of games today, I could buy a game and I mightn't play it for 6 months. I might play a few minutes of it and then I mightn't touch it then for a long time. Whereas with the PlayStation, every game I got, I played straight away, and I was just so eager to play it. Even the games I found tough, I wouldn't let it really defeat me. I'd always keep trying to figure out a way to play it, and just until I mastered it. And usually I did, so that was always the fun part of it. But yeah, it's still enjoyable all the same. But if you are into water sports, definitely give this game a go and see what you think of it. If you like the graphics and like the style, it might be something that'd be easy to pick up and play for you. So if you like this video, if you have, make sure to leave a like. Also hit the subscribe button, and make sure to drop a comment below, and just even let me know that you've actually subscribed to the channel by dropping a comment down below, and I'll make sure to try and comment back to all yous that are watching these videos, as it does help engage with the community and to keep people watching these videos. So until next time, as always, make sure to keep those gaming memories alive.